feel that the most impactful thing from school wasn't really academic. I gained so many leadership skills because of softball. My self-esteem improved and I became more confident. I don't think I would be the same person I am today without sports. Softball really helped shape the person I am today.
To assume that everybody is going to graduate if they graduate after 12 years of education with the same level of reading and cultural competency is naive.
In my area specifically, I felt as if education wasn't a priority and lacked a lot of resources that would have helped us become more successful.
I liked my favorite teachers because they understood that I was different. They taught me in a way that put me at par with my peers, and for that I learned to strive in my studies.
It's always best to prepare and study before your class actually starts. Then you won't have any problems.
I remember we used to have these, they were called mad scientist assemblies in elementary school, and it was the coolest thing ever. What happened in those? They had liquid nitrogen and dry ice and stuff, and they would freeze stuff and have the dry ice stuff going down the stairs, and I remember thinking like, holy shit, this is crazy.
I was always the kid who put in the minimal amount of work needed to get an A.
So I remember my math class, I wasn't doing so well. Anyway, unbeknownst to me, my professor and the math department head, who taught me before, had been watching me work in lab. They'd seen the frustration. Eventually, they started pulling me aside and making extra efforts to help me. I don't think I would have continued if they hadn't intervened.
The only motivation I had to go to school was to rebuild my life on my own. I surrounded myself with very stable people to help inspire me to create my own path. And I know getting an education was what would help me move along.
I knew she cared about me and really paid attention to our grades. When you know someone's keeping track and holding you accountable, you really don't want to disappoint them.
Coming out of a small school, teachers cared more about what students were learning and how they were learning, and were much less concerned with how fast each student learned. Although I learned a lot of valuable knowledge that I was able to engage in and fully understand, we were never taught other important skills like time management because time was never an issue. This made the transition into college quite rough, where teachers don't care about the progress of individual students because in large lectures we're all just another name and another grade on a piece of paper.
By the time that I got to high school, I knew almost every single person. I lived in a small town that did not have many schools and saw the children be in one. As a result, the student-to-teacher ratio is horrible.
I will describe myself as a good student. I took college prep courses and I got A's and B's. I was an average student. I think I had the potential to have done a lot more.
Definitely. I remember one time, this sounds so stupid, when I was in that junior high in San Jose, if you got the highest grade in the whole class, you got to sit in a real teacher chair. And you felt like a fucking king because you got this big chair. And looking back, it feels pretty stupid, but that chair worked. All the kids, including me, wanted to have that chair.
Other than that, though, I remember in the middle of high school, years after since I had last seen Pauline, that word got to me that she had cancer and was not doing well. I did not contact her, but thank God she got better in the end. I didn't realize how much she impacted me growing up until I found out she was sick. It's pretty sad, but her face reminds me of the happiest classes I had during school growing up.
We weren't allowed to go into the boys section during our lunch break. They were a separate school and we had to stay in our own area.